When I'd just taken off my rank insignia for leave, Dad clapped my shoulder with his fist and said, "A real soldier wouldn't cry." I looked straight into his smile and started counting the hours. Mom said, "Family comes first," but she hid the safe key where all my deployment pay sat untouched. I always thought I knew the smell of gunpowder better than the scent of my own blood until that night. In the old kitchen on Cedar Ridge, I survived the desert. Back home, the enemy borrowed my last name. The final night, when the cuffs clicked tight on Dad's wrists right in front of the relatives, he finally stopped smiling. The revenge climax ended there. My name is Elena Hart, and I've been counting breaths since I stepped off the transport at Fort Liberty 3 days ago. 34 years old, 12 years in Army transportation, 2 deployments to places where the sand gets into your soul. Now I'm standing in my parents' kitchen in Cedar Ridge, watching steam rise from a pot roast that smells like every homecoming I never really had. The kitchen hasn't changed. Same oak cabinets with the scratch from when Brielle threw a plate at me in high school. Same yellow overhead light that makes everyone look sick. Same round table where Dad Calvin Whitlow sits with his hands folded like he's about to deliver a performance review. "Finally decided to grace us with your presence," Mom says. Loretta's voice sweet as antifreeze. She's wearing her good apron, the one with roses, the one she saves for when the neighbors might drop by. I set my duffel by the door. The weight of it grounds me. Inside 2 changes of clothes, my tablet, and a folder of bank statements I've been reviewing since Kuwait. "Good to see you too." "Mom." Brielle emerges from the hallway, phone in hand, live streaming or texting with her. There's no difference. My older sister, 37, still living in the house 2 blocks over that our parents bought her. "The hero returns," she says without looking up. Dinner starts with Calvin's prayer, thanking God for family, for abundance, for bringing his wayward daughter home. His emphasis on wayward hangs in the air like smoke from a burnt offering. The questions begin over salad. "How much they paying you now?" Calvin asks, stabbing at lettuce like it owes him money. "Enough. Enough to help your family, or just enough to play soldier in the desert while your mother's arthritis gets worse." I watch my mother flex her fingers. No swelling, no stiffness. She catches my look and curls them into her lap. "Speaking of money," I say, keeping my voice deployment steady, "I noticed some withdrawals from my account, the one linked to my combat pay." The kitchen goes quiet except for the tick of the cat clock Brielle gave them last Christmas. "Family takes care of family," Loretta says. "Your father needed new tools for his workshop." $23,000 of tools. Calvin's fork hits his plate. "You questioning your mother. I'm questioning why signatures that aren't mine appear on withdrawal slips." He stands slowly, all 6'3" of him, still thick through the shoulders from his construction days. I stay seated, in a rock. Staying still meant staying alive. "You come into my house," he says, voice dropping to that register I remember from childhood. "After abandoning us for your precious army, and you dare accuse—" "I'm not accusing, I'm stating facts." The shove comes first, his palm flat against my shoulder, rocking me back. I steady myself, hands flat on the table. Then comes the second push. Harder. I stand to create distance. "Calvin," my mother warns, but she's backing toward the stove, creating her own distance. "A real soldier," he says, stepping into my space, breath hot with Crown Royal. "Wouldn't cry about money." A real soldier would understand duty to family. I meet his eyes. "I've never cried about money." The slap comes from the left, his class ring catching my cheekbone. The kitchen explodes in stars and the copper taste of blood. Through the ringing in my ears, I hear Brielle gasp, not in shock, but excitement. She's recording. Calvin's laughing now, that low rumble I remember from every time he won an argument with his fists. There she is, the tough girl who thinks she's better than us. I touch my cheek, blood on my fingers. I look at it, then at him, then at the security camera in the corner, the one they installed last year but never mentioned, the one they think I don't know about. A real soldier wouldn't cry, he says again, still smiling. I don't cry. I count 1 breath, 2, 3. Map the room. 2 exits, 3 potential weapons, 4 witnesses if you count the camera. I memorize the exact angle of his smile, the way my mother pretends to clean already clean counters, how Brielle holds her phone. You're right, I say quietly. A real soldier wouldn't cry. I pick up my duffel and walk to the door, each step measured. Behind me, Calvin's laughter fills the kitchen like smoke from a fire that's just getting started. Running away again. He calls. I turn at the threshold. No, just choosing my battlefield. The night air hits my burning cheek like a blessing. 3 blocks to my rental car, 15 minutes to the motel, 1 phone call to make. I don't cry. I plan. The Motel 6 room smells like cigarettes and broken promises. I spread the bank statements across the bedspread like a map of enemy territory. Each withdrawal tells a story 5,000 here, 3,000 there. Always just under the federal reporting limit. Always signed Elena Hart in handwriting that looks like mine if you're not paying attention. But I've been trained to pay attention. My laptop glows in the dark room as I log into my military Federal Credit Union account. The full picture emerges $38,000 gone over 6 months while I was dodging IEDs outside Baghdad. The deposits went to something called Whitlow Family Trust, an account I never authorized, never knew existed. I dial Marcus Keaton at 11:45 p.m. He answers on the second ring because former Rangers don't sleep much either. Elena, heard you were back. I need that favor, Marcus. The financial investigation thing we discussed. My family's been bleeding my deployment accounts. Silence. Then, send me everything. By morning, Marcus has pulled threads I couldn't reach. The Whitlow Family Trust feeds into an LLC called Cedar Holdings. Cedar Holdings owns exactly 1 property, the lake house on Larkspur Lane, the one my grandmother left to me in her will 5 years ago. The one my parents have been maintaining while I was deployed. Except now it's in Brielle's name. I meet Amara Lowell at the Starbucks on Main Street at 7:30 a.m. She's exactly what Marcus promised: sharp, hungry, and expensive in a way that says she wins. Forged signatures, she asks, examining the withdrawal slips through reading glasses that make her look like a predator studying prey. Plus fraudulent transfer of property. This deed signature is even worse than the bank ones. She holds the deed to the light. My name. But the E is wrong. The H has an extra loop, and whoever signed it pressed too hard nervous pressure. Not the steady hand of someone who signed 1,000 military documents. Your sister's handwriting. Mother's, probably. Brielle can barely write a grocery list. Amara pulls out a legal pad. I need everything. Tax returns, military pay stubs, original will from your grandmother, correspondence about the property, already compiled. I slide her a flash drive, including emails where my mother discusses managing Elena's assets while she's away playing soldier. Her eyebrows rise. How did you? She uses the same password for everything. Brielle, 1987. My sister's name and birth year. That's illegally obtained. I had verbal permission to check her email while deployed. She asked me to pay her water bill once. I have the text message. Amara smiles like a shark finding blood in the water. Keep going. I show her the notarized documents. The notary is a drinking buddy of Calvin's who runs a tax service out of his garage. The dates are impossible. I was in Kuwait on continuous duty. No leave. No way to sign anything in Cedar Ridge. The deployment records will prove already requested them from my S1 shop. I interrupt. Official documentation showing I was in country for every one of these signature dates. Marcus texts me. Found something else. Check your email. The something else makes my blood run cold. 3 credit cards in my name I never opened. Maxed out. $22,000 in debt for purchases at Home Depot, Lowe's, and a boat dealership. All while I was eating MREs and sleeping in a combat zone. Identity theft on top of fraud, Amara says when I show her. This is becoming a federal case. Good. She studies me. Most people want to keep family matters quiet. Most people's fathers don't hit them for asking about stolen money. He hit you. I touch the bruise on my cheek, now purple-green like a storm cloud. Yesterday, in front of my mother and sister. Police report, not yet, but there's video. From where? Their kitchen security camera. They think I don't know about it. Amara closes her legal pad with the satisfaction of someone who just found a winning lottery ticket. Ms. Hart, your family made 3 critical mistakes. They got greedy, they got sloppy, and they got caught. There's more, I tell her. The house on Larkspur Lane, Brielle, listed it for sale yesterday. Cash only. Quick close. How do you know? I pull up the listing on my phone. The photos were taken last week, my grandmother's furniture already removed, replaced with staging that screams, flip. The listing agent is another high school friend of Brielle's. They're trying to liquidate before I notice, Amara says. Except I already have. She stands, gathering the documents like ammunition. We file for an emergency injunction this afternoon, freeze everything, then we go after them for every penny plus damages. I don't want damages, I say. I want justice. In my experience, Ms. Hart, they're usually the same thing. As she leaves, I notice a text from an unknown number. Stop digging or things get worse. I forward it to Amara and Marcus, then respond, a real soldier wouldn't stop. The reply comes immediately. Your choice. I smile for the first time since landing in Cedar Ridge. They think this is still their battlefield. They're wrong. Cedar Ridge runs on gossip like cars run on gasoline. By Tuesday morning, everyone knows I'm back. By Tuesday afternoon, they all have opinions about it. At the Kroger, Mrs. Patterson corners me by the produce. Your mother's been saying you abandoned them for the army. Poor Loretta, dealing with her arthritis all alone. Her arthritis, I repeat, selecting tomatoes with the focus of someone diffusing an IED. And your father's back problems, from all those years supporting the family while you were off playing soldier. The tomato in my hand bruises under my grip. Playing soldier. Right. At the gas station, Jimmy Dalton Brielle's ex from high school won't meet my eyes as he rings up my coffee. Heard you're causing trouble about family money. Heard you're still living in your mom's basement. He flushes. At least I didn't abandon my family. The word abandon follows me through Cedar Ridge like a deployment shadow. At the post office, the pharmacy, the diner where I stop for lunch and find my usual booth occupied by 3 of Mom's church friends, who stop talking the moment I walk in. I eat at the counter instead, listening to them whisper about ungrateful daughters and family values. My phone buzzes. Marcus, check your 6. Black Ford F-150. I've already noticed it. Calvin's truck, following me since the grocery store. Not him driving too small. Brielle, probably, playing spy. At the bank, I request 5 years of statements. The teller, a young woman named Ashley, hesitates. These accounts have multiple authorized users. I'm the primary, the only legal primary. She makes a phone call, hushed words I can't hear. Then, I'll need to get manager approval. The manager is Dale Whitford, golf buddy of Calvin's. He comes out with his politician's smile. Elena, heard you were back from wherever. Kuwait. And Iraq before that. Right. About these statements. Is there a problem providing an account holder with their own records? No problem at all. Just want to make sure we're not causing any family discord. The only discord is theft. His smile flickers. That's a serious accusation. It's a serious crime. I get my statements. Every page reveals another transaction I didn't authorize. The teller prints them in silence while Dale hovers, texting rapidly on his phone. That evening, Calvin calls a family meeting, not at the house at the VFW Hall, where he's been a member since his 4 years in the peacetime army 30 years ago. Public ground, witnesses. We need to talk about Elena's behavior, he announces to the assembled relatives, 2 aunts, 3 uncles, several cousins. Loretta sits beside him in her victim's pose. Brielle live streams from the corner. She comes home, Calvin continues, and immediately accuses her own family of theft. The family that raised her, fed her, supported her. Until I turned 18, I say from the doorway. Everyone turns. You kicked me out the day after graduation. I joined the army because I was homeless. Drama queen, Aunt Sharon mutters. I have receipts. I continue, walking in. Would anyone like to see them 38,000 in unauthorized withdrawals, property theft, identity fraud? Family business stays in the family, Uncle Pete says. Funny how family only matters when you want my money. Loretta starts crying on cue. We sacrificed everything for you. Name one thing. Your father worked his hands raw. He's been on disability for 5 years. Legitimate disability. I look at Calvin. Or just another fraud. He stands, chair scraping. You watch your mouth, little girl. Or, what you'll hit me again. Go ahead. More witnesses this time. The room goes silent. Cousin Bradley, back corner, finally speaks. He hit you. Ask Brielle. She recorded it. All eyes turn to my sister, who suddenly finds her phone fascinating. That's not what happened, she stammers. Then post the video. Prove me wrong. She doesn't. I pull out my phone, project the bank statements onto the VFW wall using their ancient projector system. Every withdrawal, every forged signature, every lie. You can't prove, Calvin starts. I can. I have. My lawyer has filed charges, criminal and civil. Your lawyer. Loretta's tears stop like a faucet turned off. Amara Lowell. You might know her. She prosecuted the Riverside fraud case last year. 20-year sentence. Someone whispers, Holy shit. But I'm giving you one chance. I lie, needing them to feel safe enough to make more mistakes. Return the money. Sign the house back over. Stop the lies. Calvin laughs that same rumble from the kitchen. Or what, you'll destroy your own family. You already did that. I'm just documenting it. I leave them there, arguing among themselves. In the parking lot, I find my rental car's tires slashed. 4 clean cuts. Amateur work. I call an Uber, then text Marcus. They're escalating. His response. Good. Desperate people make mistakes. Through the VFW window, I see Calvin still holding court, still playing the victim. Tomorrow, the whole town will know his version. But I have something better than gossip. I have evidence. And in 3 days, at the Cedar Ridge Veterans Banquet, with the whole town watching, everyone will know exactly what kind of man Calvin Whitlow really is. The Uber arrives. As we drive past, I see Brielle in the parking lot, on her phone, deleting videos, probably too late. Everything's already backed up to the cloud. Everything. A real soldier wouldn't cry, but a real soldier would plan and execute. The driver glances at me in the mirror. Rough night. I touch my cheek where the bruise is fading to yellow. Just getting started. The lake house on Larkspur Lane sits like a memory gone wrong. My grandmother's roses are dead, replaced with generic landscaping mulch. The porch swing she built by hand is gone, but the bones of the place, those are still hers. I arrive at 4:15, before dawn, before whoever's watching expects movement. The locksmith I called from Fort Worth, no local connections, meets me in the driveway. You sure you own this place? He asks, nervous. I show him the original will, the fraudulent transfer documents, and Amara's emergency injunction. As of yesterday, legally back in my control pending investigation. New locks, reinforced deadbolts, and a smart lock system that alerts my phone. While he works, I install cameras, doorbell, driveway, living room, kitchen, all streaming to a cloud server Marcus recommended, encrypted and backed up offshore. Inside, the house echoes empty. They've sold everything valuable grandmother's antique secretary desk, the grandfather clock, even the copper pots she brought from Poland. But I'm not here for sentiment. I'm here to set the trap. In the kitchen. I place a manila folder marked Confidential Property Sale in clear view. Inside fake documents about a cash offer from a developer. $2.3 million for the lakefront footage. Enough to make anyone greedy desperate. I send an email from my military account, unencrypted, to a fake real estate agent address I control, reconsidering quick sale. Deployment orders changed. Need funds within 72 hours. Please advise. Then I wait. Brielle takes the bait within 3 hours. A silver Lexus, where did she get money for that? Pulls into the driveway at 7:45 a.m. She still has a key, tries it, swears when it doesn't work, circles the house, peering in windows. The cameras catch everything, her testing the back door, checking under fake rocks for spare keys, finally calling someone. Calvin arrives 20 minutes later with a crowbar. I watch from my phone, sitting in the Denny's 3 miles away, as my father attempts to break into my house. He's smart enough to check for cameras, but not smart enough to spot the hidden ones. The doorbell camera he covers with duct tape, the hidden pinhole in the porch light. He misses completely. They get in through the bathroom window, Brielle's teenage trick, still working at 37. I let them. Every second inside is another felony. My phone streams their conversation from the interior cameras. 2.3 million, Brielle breathes, finding the folder exactly where I left it. Bullshit, Calvin says, but he's scanning the documents. Why wouldn't she tell us? Because she's selfish, Brielle responds, taking photos of every page. They search the house methodically. Calvin finds my secondary bait, a printed email exchange about VA disability reassessment, suggesting my PTSD diagnosis might increase my compensation to $4,000 monthly. Fucking gold mine, he mutters, and she cries about 38 grand. They stay 53 minutes. Take nothing physical, they're not that stupid, but photograph everything. Brielle tries to access the desktop computer I left running, but it's password protected and records every attempt. Marcus texts. They're using the neighbor's Wi-Fi to research property developers, the elderly Hendersons, who barely use internet. I make a note to have Marcus secure their router later, with permission. By afternoon, the trap has multiple catches. Loretta calls from a blocked number. Voice, sweet. Elena, honey, I heard you're thinking of selling Mother's house. We should talk about family options first. I'm listening. Well, Brielle has been taking such good care of it. Maybe she could assume the mortgage. There is no mortgage. Grandma paid it off in 1987. I mean, arrange a family sale. Below market value, of course, but keeping it in the family. How much below? Oh, maybe $300,000. That's generous for family. For a $2.3 million property. I almost laugh. I'll think about it. Calvin texts from his actual number. Heard about your VA increase. Congratulations. Family helps family, though. Then Brielle, from a text now number she thinks is anonymous developer friend interested in Larkspur property, can get you $1.8 million cash. Quick close. No questions. The greed is eating them alive. They can't coordinate their lies anymore. That evening, I return to the lake house openly, making sure the neighbors see me. Mrs. Henderson waves from her garden. Elena, I heard you were back. Your grandmother would be so proud. Thanks. Mrs. H. Hey, has anyone been by the house today? Her face darkens. Your father and sister, they said they were checking on maintenance, but... She leans closer. They broke in through the bathroom window. I have it on my Ring camera if you need it. You're an angel. Your grandmother was my best friend for 40 years. She'd haunt me if I let them steal from you. Inside, I stage the final piece, a termination letter from a fictional property management company, dated tomorrow, releasing the house from their services due to multiple violations including unauthorized entry and removal of assets. Then I place a call to Cedar Ridge's biggest gossip, Marla from the hair salon, knowing she has appointments with Loretta and Sharon tomorrow. Marla Elena Hart, I wanted to give you a heads up there might be some drama at the Veterans Banquet on Saturday. If you're going... Oh, honey, everyone's going. What kind of drama? The legal kind. Bring your phone. She gasps with delight. I wouldn't miss it. My phone buzzes. Another unknown number. Last chance. Stop, or we make your service record public. I respond with a screenshot of my Bronze Star citation. Then I forward everything to Amara, the break-in footage, the emails, the texts, all of it. Her response: "This is Christmas morning for a prosecutor. 3 days until the banquet. 3 days for them to panic, make more mistakes, dig themselves deeper. The house on Larkspur Lane sits quiet now, cameras rolling, waiting. Like a minefield, I've mapped myself, waiting for someone else to step wrong. The Cedar Ridge Veterans Banquet transforms the community center into a sea of red, white, and blue. Paper stars dangle from fishing line. Tables sport miniature flags, and a brass quartet plays patriotic standards. Every year, the same decorations. Every year, the same people. But tonight will be different. I arrive at 6:45 p.m., 15 minutes after doors open. Calculated. Late enough that Calvin's already holding court. Early enough that the room isn't full. I wear my Class A uniform. Every ribbon precisely placed. Bronze Star prominent. The uniform I swore I'd never wear in this town. Heads turn. Whispers ripple. I catch fragments. Actually showed up. Heard about the lawyers. Poor Loretta. Calvin stands near the makeshift stage, bourbon in hand, surrounded by his construction buddies and VFW regulars. He's wearing his old Army jacket from the 80s, the one with Staff Sergeant stripes. 4 years of peacetime service, never deployed, but he tells war stories like he stormed Normandy. Loretta floats between tables in her martyred mother costume-sensible dress, pained smile, occasionally touching her wrists as if the arthritis might manifest through sheer will. Brielle works the crowd with her phone, broadcasting live to her 43 followers. Say here at the Veterans Banquet where our family is being honored for our service. Our family. Our service. I take a table near the back, alone. Marcus offered to come, but I need this to play out without backup. Amara waits in her car outside, documents ready. The local news crew arrives at 7 p.m. Channel 8 desperate for weekend content. They set up near the stage, camera sweeping the crowd. Brielle immediately positions herself in frame. Mayor Davidson takes the microphone at 7:15. Tonight, we honor our veterans and their families. The sacrifices made, the prices paid. Applause. Calvin raises his glass, accepting praise for sacrifices he never made. We have a special recognition tonight, the mayor continues. The Whitlow family, Calvin, Loretta, and both daughters for their continuous service to our community and country. Both daughters. They've claimed my service as family property. Calvin approaches the stage, pulling Loretta with him. Brielle follows, still streaming. He takes the microphone with practiced ease. Thank you. Cedar Ridge. Family serves together. When one of us deploys, we all sacrifice. When one of us succeeds, we all succeed. I stand. The movement draws eyes. Calvin sees me, his smile widening. In fact, my daughter Elena just returned from deployment. Stand up. Elena. Oh, you're already standing. I walk toward the stage, phone in hand, each step measured, like approaching an objective. The crowd parts, unsure what's happening. Since we're talking about family sacrifice, I say, loud enough for the room, but not shouting. I have something to share. Elena, Loretta starts. I connect my phone to the projection system, the same one from the VFW, compatible with the community center. The first image fills the screen, my bank statement. 38,000 in withdrawals, each one highlighted. This is my deployment pay, taken while I was in Kuwait. Calvin reaches for the microphone. So, family matter. Is it? I swipe to the next image, the forged signatures. These signatures were made while I was 8,000 miles away. The room goes silent except for the camera's electronic hum. Next image, the fraudulent deed transfer. My grandmother's house, stolen while I served. You're embarrassing yourself, Calvin says, but his voice cracks. No, I'm documenting fraud. I turn to the camera. Channel 8, would you like an exclusive on veteran benefit theft? The reporter steps forward, microphone extended. Calvin tries to block her, but I'm already playing the audio. His voice fills the room from that night in the kitchen. A real soldier wouldn't cry. Then the sound of the slap. Clear. Unmistakable. Someone gasps. The camera swings between Calvin and me. "That's doctored," Brielle shouts, but her voice breaks panic. "That's not, I was there and—" "You were recording," I confirm. "Where's your video, Brielle?" She holds up her phone with shaking hands. I never— "You deleted evidence. After texting me threats from burner numbers." I show the screenshots. Each threat, each response. Mayor Davidson steps back from Calvin like he's radioactive. The camera catches it all. "This is family business," Loretta cries. Real tears now. "We don't need—" The county prosecutor disagrees. I gesture to the door where Amara enters. Perfectly timed. "Ms. Lowell." She's magnificent in her severity, heels clicking across the floor. "Calvin Whitlow, Loretta Whitlow, Brielle Whitlow. You're being served with civil suits for fraud, theft, identity theft, and elder financial abuse regarding the estate of Margaret Hart." She hands them papers as the camera rolls. Calvin's face goes from red to white to red again. "Additionally," Amara continues, "criminal charges are being filed with the district attorney. I advise you to seek counsel." "You can't!" Calvin lunges toward me. 3 veterans, real combat veterans, step between us. One is Master Sergeant Rodriguez from the recruiting office. "Stand down, Whitlow." Calvin looks around the room for support, finds none. His construction buddies study their drinks. His VFW friends turn away. 53 years in this town," he says, voice breaking. "And you all take her side." "You stole from a deployed soldier," Rodriguez says quietly. "Your own daughter. She abandoned. She served." Rodriguez's voice cuts like a blade. "You stole. We're done here." The footage streams live on Brielle's own account. I can see comments flooding in, none supportive. Calvin tries once more, turning to me with that smile, that terrible, confident smile. "A real soldier. Wouldn't cry." I finish. "You're right. I'm not crying." The room waits. The camera waits. I'm pressing charges. The smile finally dies. For the first time in my life, Calvin Whitlow has no words. I turn to leave, then stop. The house on Larkspur Lane. I'm moving back in tomorrow. "Your belongings from the garage will be on the curb by 9 a.m. Don't trespass on my property again." I walk out, leaving them in the spotlight they craved, drowning in the attention they demanded, choking on the reputation they built on lies. In the parking lot, I finally breathe. Amara finds me leaning against my rental car. "You did well," she says. "It's not over." "No, but the hard part is." I look back at the community center. Through the windows, I see chaos. Calvin arguing, Loretta crying, Brielle trying to explain to the camera. I don't smile. Not yet. But I don't cry either. The Cedar Ridge County Prosecutor's Office smells like burnt coffee and justice delayed. Assistant District Attorney James Merchant reviews the evidence across his desk while I sit military straight in an uncomfortable chair. It's Monday, 9:15 a.m., 2 days after the banquet. Financial fraud, identity theft, forgery. He lists. "The documents Ms. Lowell provided are comprehensive." "There's more," Marcus says, sliding a folder across the desk. "The LLC they created. It's been used for tax evasion. They claimed the Larkspur property as a rental loss while living in it." Merchant's eyebrows rise. "That's federal. IRS criminal investigation is interested." Marcus confirms. My phone buzzes. Amara texts injunction approved. All assets frozen. "Ms. Hart," Merchant says, "are you prepared for what happens next? Criminal prosecution of family members. They stopped being family when they robbed me blind." He nods, makes notes. "We'll start with the state charges. The federal investigation will run parallel." That afternoon, Amara files the civil suits at the courthouse. The clerk, Mrs. Benson, reads through the pages with widening eyes. Lord have mercy, she mutters, stamping documents. Calvin always seemed so respectable. Seeming and being are different things. She gives me a long look. Your grandmother would be proud. She never trusted him. By evening, Calvin's accounts are frozen. Loretta discovers this at Kroger when her card declines. The story spreads through Cedar Ridge like wildfire, Loretta Whitlow crying at the checkout, abandoning a cart full of groceries. Brielle calls from 17 different numbers throughout the day. I don't answer. Each voicemail grows more desperate. Elena, please, we can work this out. You're destroying everything. I'll pay you back. I promise. You fucking bitch. I hope you die alone. Please, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Tuesday brings the forensic accountant's report. The theft goes deeper. A life insurance policy in my name I never purchased, with Loretta as beneficiary. Credit cards used for Calvin's truck repairs. Brielle's Lexus lease. Even Loretta's weekly casino trips across the state line. $63,000 total, the accountant tells Amara and me over Zoom. Plus interest and damages. You're looking at 6 figures. I don't want their money, I say. I want accountability. You'll get both, Amara promises. The Cedar Ridge Facebook group explodes with commentary. Someone posts security footage from the banquet. Another shares a photo of Calvin being escorted from the bank after causing a scene. Marla from the salon provides color commentary on every development. Wednesday, Calvin tries a new tactic. He shows up at the JAG office at Fort Liberty, claiming I violated military regulations by attacking him publicly in uniform. The JAG officer, Major Brennan, calls me directly. Staff Sergeant Hart, Mr. Whitlow is here making accusations. Sir, I'm happy to provide all documentation of his theft and fraud. A pause. He assaulted you. Yes, sir, on camera. Send everything to my office. Mr. Whitlow will be escorted off base shortly. Calvin's banned from Fort Liberty. Another humiliation in his collection. Thursday morning, the IRS arrives. 2 agents in dark suits knock on Calvin's door at 6:30 a.m. The neighbors watch as boxes of documents are carried out. Calvin's truck is impounded for asset investigation. Loretta calls me directly for the first time since the banquet. Her voice is hollow. Your father had a heart episode. Guilt can cause stress. He's in the hospital. Good. They have security cameras there. You're heartless. I learned from the best. She hangs up. Later. I learned from Mrs. Henderson that Calvin's heart episode was a panic attack. He's released the same day, Friday. Brielle makes her move. She goes to Channel 8 with a tell-all interview, claiming I've been unstable since deployment, that the family was trying to protect my assets while I was mentally unfit. It backfires spectacularly. The reporter asks for medical documentation. Brielle stammers about PTSD, about trauma, about things she's invented. Then the reporter shows my fitness for duty evaluation from last month completely clean. Where did you get that Brielle demands on air? Ms. Hart provided it, along with documentation of your fraudulent signature on property transfers. The interview ends with Brielle storming off set. Saturday morning, cease and desist letters arrive at Calvin's house via certified mail. One from the VA for fraudulent representation of veteran status he's been claiming combat veteran discounts. Another from the IRS. A third from the State Attorney General's office. Marcus texts their lawyer just quit. Third one this week. By afternoon, the Whitlow Family Trust is dissolved by court order. Cedar Holdings LLC is under federal investigation. The Larkspur house deed is officially transferred back to my sole ownership. I stand in my grandmother's kitchen, my kitchen now making her pierogi recipe. The house still echoes empty, but it's clean. No more lies hiding in the corners. My phone rings. Unknown number. I answer. Elena. Calvin's voice, smaller than I've ever heard it. The federal agents say I could face prison. Yes, 20 years, they said. That's the maximum for fraud over 50,000. Silence. Then, I'm your father. No, you're a thief who shares my DNA. We can make a deal. Through lawyers only. Goodbye. Calvin. I hang up. Outside, snow begins to fall on Cedar Ridge. The lake is freezing over. From the window, I can see the lights of town below, probably buzzing with gossip about the Whitlows' downfall. I don't feel victory. I don't feel vindication. I feel free. The justice system grinds slow but thorough. The civil suits proceed. The criminal charges mount. The evidence is overwhelming. Monday, 1 week after the banquet, Amara calls with news. The prosecutors offering them a plea deal. Full restitution, 5 years minimum for Calvin, 3 for Loretta, probation for Brielle if she cooperates. Will they take it? Their new lawyer public defender is recommending it. The alternative is trial and potentially decades. I sit with that image, Calvin in handcuffs, not smiling. Good, I say. Let them choose. The invitation comes through Loretta's sister. Aunt Sharon, family dinner, Sunday, 6 p.m. Please come. They want to apologize. I know it's a trap, another manipulation. But I also know the investigation needs one more piece, a clear admission of guilt. The wire I'm wearing is FBI standard, approved by the federal prosecutor. Sunday, 5:58 p.m. I park outside the house on Cedar Ridge, looking at that familiar porch light. Same house where this started. Same kitchen where Calvin's fist introduced me to family justice. Marcus is parked 3 houses down. Federal agents wait 2 blocks over. My phone records everything, back up to the wire. I knock instead of using my old key. Brielle opens the door, eyes red-rimmed. You came. I said I would. The house smells like pot roast again, like that first night. But now the walls seem smaller, the ceiling lower. This place has shrunk, or I've grown. Calvin sits at the head of the table. His hands shake slightly withdrawal from alcohol. Probably, or just fear. Loretta stands by the stove, stirring something that doesn't need stirring. The same positions as that night, like they're recreating the scene. Sit, Calvin says, not asking. I remain standing. Say what you need to say. We're family, he starts. No. Please. Loretta turns from the stove. Just hear us out. I lean against the wall, arms crossed. The wire picks up my steady heartbeat. Calvin clears his throat. We made mistakes. Crimes. You committed crimes. We were desperate. Brielle jumps in. The economy. Dad's disability wasn't enough. His fake disability. Calvin's jaw tightens. It's not fake. The investigator found you doing roofing work last month. Cash jobs. Silence. Look, Calvin says, leaning forward. We can fix this. All of it. Without courts. How? We'll pay back what we took. With what money your accounts are frozen. Brielle can sell her car. The one you bought with my deployment pay. Loretta steps forward. Elena, please. Your father could die in prison. His heart. His panic attacks. You mean? You're enjoying this, Calvin says, his mask slipping. You always thought you were better than us. I thought family meant something. I was wrong. Family does mean something. He slams his hand on the table. Same table. Same violence. Which is why you should drop these charges. Or, he stands, moving toward me. Same approach as that night. But I don't move. Don't flinch. Or we tell everyone about Iraq. I almost laugh. Tell them what that I served with distinction. Tommy Brennan from the VFW has a cousin at Division. Says you had an incident. Friendly fire. My blood goes cold, but I keep my face neutral. There was no friendly fire incident. Convoy accident then. Someone died because of you. Someone died in an IED attack. I pulled 3 people from the burning vehicle. That's not what we'll say. I look at him, really look at him. This man who donated sperm to create me, who thinks lying about combat death is leverage. Go ahead, I say quietly. Tell lies about honored dead soldiers. See how Cedar Ridge responds to that. Brielle's phone buzzes. She checks it, goes pale. The FBI is here. Through the window, Black SUVs are visible. Calvin spins toward me. You're wearing a wire? No. Truth. The wire is sewn into my jacket lining, not worn, but I am done pretending this is fixable. You set us up, Loretta whispers. You robbed me. You assaulted me. You committed federal crimes. I just documented it. Calvin lunges forward that same motion from the first night. But this time, I'm ready. I sidestep, and he stumbles into the wall. Don't, I warn him. Not again. He turns, raises his fist. The door explodes open. Federal agents flood in, weapons drawn. Calvin Whitlow, hands where we can see them. He freezes, fist still raised. The tableau holds Calvin ready to strike, me standing calm, agents surrounding us. Sir, lower your hand, now. He does, slowly. The smile tries to resurface, that practiced, confident smile, but it cracks at the edges. Calvin Whitlow, you're under arrest for wire fraud, identity theft, assault, and conspiracy to commit fraud. They turn him around, pull his hands behind his back. The cuffs click closed with a definitive snap. He's not smiling now. Loretta Whitlow, Brielle Whitlow, you're also under arrest. Loretta collapses into a chair. Brielle drops her phone, its screen cracking on the linoleum. As they're led out, Calvin turns to me one last time. I'm your father. No, I say. You're just someone who lived in the same house. The agents escort them past the neighbors who've gathered on their lawns. Mrs. Henderson watches from her porch, no sympathy in her eyes. Others record with their phones. By morning, everyone in Cedar Ridge will have seen Calvin Whitlow in handcuffs. The house empties except for me and Agent Martinez. You did good, she says. That admission about the disability fraud, the threats, it's all recorded. I look around at the kitchen. Same scratched cabinets, same yellow light, same round table. But it's just a room now. No power over me. What happens to the house? I ask. Asset forfeiture. Probably. Unless they make restitution. I touch the wall where Calvin hit it, leaving a small dent. Evidence of his final attempt at violence. A real soldier wouldn't cry, I say to myself. Ma'am. Nothing. Just remembering something that doesn't matter anymore. I walk out, leaving the door open behind me. Let the cold air clean out the smell of pot roast and lies. In the driveway, I call Amara. They're in custody. Good. The federal prosecutor says with tonight's recording, we're looking at maximum sentences. What about the plea deal? Off the table now. They threatened to federal witness you. That's additional charges. I sit in my car, watching the FBI vehicles disappear down Cedar Ridge Road. 3 sets of red taillights carrying away 3 people who share my blood but never shared my values. Marcus texts, You okay? I consider the question. Tomorrow, there will be arraignments, lawyers, court dates, the slow grind of justice. But tonight, I'm free. I text back, better than okay. I'm done. The last Sunday dinner is over. The kitchen on Cedar Ridge will never trap me again. The federal courthouse in Cedar Ridge stands like a monument to delayed justice. 3 months after that last dinner, I sit in the gallery's front row, posture perfect, watching karma complete its circle. Calvin enters first, orange jumpsuit replacing his contractor's swagger. The chains between his ankles sing with each step a sound more satisfying than any promotion ceremony I've attended. No smile today. His face has aged 5 years in 3 months. Loretta follows, diminished. The arthritis she performed for years seems to have finally found her, making her movements genuinely stiff. Brielle comes last, avoiding every eye, her live streaming days definitively over. Judge Harrison presides, a veteran himself. Bronze Star with V device from Vietnam. He reads the charges with deliberate precision: wire fraud, identity theft, conspiracy, assault, threatening a federal witness, disability fraud, tax evasion. The list runs 3 pages. How do you plead? Their public defender stands. Your Honor, my clients wish to change their pleas to guilty on all counts. The gallery murmurs. I feel nothing, not satisfaction, not vindication, just the clean emptiness of a completed mission. The prosecutor stands. Your Honor, given the guilty pleas and the defendant's cooperation with the IRS investigation, the government recommends 15 years for Calvin Whitlow, 8 years for Loretta Whitlow, and 5 years supervised probation with restitution for Brielle Whitlow. Calvin's head snaps up. 15 years! Mr. Whitlow, Judge Harrison's voice cuts cold. You stole from your daughter while she served in a combat zone. You assaulted her. You committed fraud against the federal government. 15 years is generous. The defense attorney whispers urgently to Calvin, who finally nods. Defeated. Additionally, the prosecutor continues, full restitution of $93,000, plus interest and penalties, to be paid to Staff Sergeant Hart. $93,000. More than they stole, with the penalties. Money they don't have. Assets they no longer control. Judge Harrison turns to me. Staff Sergeant Hart, would you like to make a victim impact statement? I stand, walk to the podium. The courtroom falls silent. Your Honor, I served 2 deployments. In Iraq, in Kuwait. I've been mortared, attacked, seen friends die. But the deepest wound came from the people who should have been my safe place. Calvin Whitlow taught me that strength meant never crying. He was wrong. Strength means standing here today, holding criminals accountable, even when they share your DNA. Loretta Whitlow said family comes first. She was wrong. Integrity comes first. Brielle Whitlow called me selfish for wanting my own money. She was wrong. Self-respect isn't selfishness. I don't need their apologies. I don't want their explanations. I just want them to serve their sentences and leave me in peace. I return to my seat. Calvin tries to catch my eye. I look through him like he's smoke. Judge Harrison nods. The court accepts the guilty pleas and the recommended sentences. Calvin Whitlow, you are sentenced to 15 years federal prison, followed by 3 years supervised release. Loretta Whitlow, 8 years federal prison, 2 years supervised release. Brielle Whitlow, 5 years probation with mandatory restitution payments. The gavel falls. Then it happens the moment I've waited for. The federal marshals approach Calvin with handcuffs. Not the temporary ones from the arrest, but the permanent ones. The ones that say you're not going home. They turn him around, lock his hands behind his back. He looks at me one final time, mouth opening like he wants to say something. Maybe apologize. Maybe curse me. Maybe try that phrase one more time. A real soldier wouldn't cry. But no words come. The marshals lead him toward the side door, the one that leads to holding, to transport, to federal prison. That's when his smile finally returns, not the confident one, but a twisted, desperate version. You'll regret this, Elena. When you're alone on holidays, when you have no family left, Mr. Whitlow, Judge Harrison interrupts. One more word and I'll add contempt charges. The smile dies forever. Calvin Whitlow disappears through the door, followed by Loretta, who doesn't look back. Brielle remains. Will walk free today, but she's broken. She'll work minimum wage the rest of her life to pay restitution. She mouths, "I'm sorry," before her lawyer leads her away. The courtroom empties. I sit alone for a moment in the sudden quiet. Marcus appears beside me. How do you feel? Done. That's all. I stand, straighten my jacket. They made their choices. I made mine. Now it's finished. Outside, Cedar Ridge continues its small-town life. The gossip will feed on this for years, the Whitlow scandal, the daughter who brought down her own family. Some will call me heartless. Others will whisper about justice. I don't care. At the lake house on Larkspur Lane, I've restored my grandmother's furniture, piece by piece, found her copper pots at an estate sale, bought them back, planted new roses where hers died. The house breathes again, free of their poison. Mrs. Henderson brings a casserole that evening. Your grandmother would be proud, she says. She warned me about Calvin. I didn't listen. You were young. You wanted to believe in family. Now I know better. She pats my hand. Family isn't blood, dear. It's choice. That night, I stand in the kitchen where this started, not their kitchen, but mine, on Larkspur Lane. I pour a glass of my grandmother's plum wine, her recipe, my batch. The news plays on my phone. Local contractor Calvin Whitlow sentenced to 15 years for defrauding deployed daughter. I turn it off. Tomorrow. I report to my new duty station, Fort Carson, Colorado. Fresh start, clean slate. The transport unit there needs experienced NCOs. They don't know about Cedar Ridge, about the scandal, about any of it. Just that Staff Sergeant Hart has excellent reviews and a bronze star. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. I almost don't answer. Then do. Elena. A young voice. Nervous. This is Jamie. Jamie Whitlow. Your cousin, I just wanted to say. What they did was wrong. And if you ever need real family... Thanks, Jamie. Maybe someday. Maybe. But not today. I lock the lake house, set the security system, walk to my car. In the trunk, already packed everything I need for Colorado. I travel light now. No baggage from Cedar Ridge. As I drive out of town, I pass the courthouse one more time. Somewhere beneath it, in federal holding, Calvin Whitlow sits in a cell, waiting for transport to federal prison. No bourbon, no buddies, no one to bully, just him and his choices. I don't smile, don't cry. I just drive, leaving Cedar Ridge in my rearview mirror, getting smaller and smaller until it disappears entirely. Ahead, the highway stretches toward Colorado, toward tomorrow, toward a life where no one can ever again say, a real soldier wouldn't cry, and expect me to break, because I didn't cry. I won. Thank you for listening to this story of justice served cold. I'd love to know where you're listening from. Drop a comment below and let's connect. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts. What would you have done in Elena's position? Your stories and perspectives make this community special.